everybody. How are you? Had a hard time getting on. Think it's the weather. So we're going to wait a few minutes for people to find me. I was trying to find my flyer. All right, looks like people are getting here on. Okay, thank you. All right, I'll wait one more minute. Welcome Ronnie and Diane and Joanne and Stephanie and Ronnie, Cindy and Sharon. Welcome, welcome. Okay, I guess we'll get started. So for those of you that don't know me, I know most of you do. My name is Corinne Sandin. I've been teaching stamping and scrapbooking. As a matter of fact, today I had a team meeting with my team. A couple of people were able to come. We had a great time. Did anybody else do any crafting today? I don't know how the transmission's going to be because the wind is ripping out here. Looks like I'm frozen already. So if I should happen to get disconnected, I won't come back on because the weather is so finicky. Alright, let's get started. Patsy made a couple of cards today. Awesome. Alright, the very first card I want to show you is this window box card using the cute products from Celebration in the mini catalog. This was a color challenge that I had put out to my team to use Night of Navy, Polish Pink, and Coastal Cabin. So I made a card too as well. This time I'm going to change it up just a little bit. I want the card base to be Polish Pink. The inside will be Coastal Cabin. Then I have a white piece. I will get all the measurements up tomorrow. And then I used the new tag dies that we have. I will put all that information up for you tomorrow. So this is your standard card. It is 8.5 by 5.5. It has some weird score marks. The first one is at 3 3/4, and the second one is at 4 1/4, and the final one is at 8, so that you have a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch here. The inside to make this window box piece, it's 4 3/4 by 5.5, and I took one of our circle dies. I hope everybody can still see me. It looks like I keep freezing up here. I just took one of these circle dies, and you can use whichever one you want. There's really no right or wrong measurement. So I want to do a little bit of brushing. So I'm going to use the back side of this as my template. I'm going to take some Polish Pink ink, a blending brush. Right here, they're in the annual catalog. You can get 3 of them in a package. I'm going to just brush off a little bit, and I'm using this circle as my template. Just brushing a little bit of color. This is the back side, so you can see. Then I'm going to take this cute little heart that's part of the penguin stamp set. And if you purchase the penguin, you can get the punch that coordinates with it. and save 10%. Who doesn't like to save a little money? Want to make sure I'm in the right direction. Put a little heart there. Again, I'm using the polished pink. Let me put this away before I make a mess. I'm going to set this aside just for a second. I already stamped the penguin with Memento ink. Now I'm going to grab his little fins and his nose. Stamp a couple of those. I always like to test so I can have a feel for my stamp. I'm going to put one right down here. Let that sit for a minute, let the ink gravitate. This is a polymer, so make sure you're on some type of a mat. And there's his little beak. We're all set with this. I'm going to punch him out, and as you can see, this is the body if you wanted to stamp feet. So when I have a piece of paper that's a little bit hard to fool around with, I just stick it on a Post-it note like that. And I want to adjust this so you can see. Right here. Okay. So I'm going to fold these on these score marks that I have. Grab my bone folder. So on this one, you want to fold this up. This right here, so that you're creating that like a box, I think of it as. So you can see I have my box created here. So I'm going to attach this inside using my favorite glue, which most of you know is Tombow. My iPad is freezing up, so I will have to respond to comments after the video. I absolutely love polished pink. I like bright colors anyways, but I just think this is so pretty. And people think it's close to magenta, but it's very different. Really, it is, people. Okay, so we need to do a little bit of stamping. I like you a lot. So I'm going to use my Memento Black for that. And again, just going to hold it there for a minute. Oh yeah, I took pages and sat there one night. 2 nights actually it took me. Alright, so there's my greeting. So you can either use heavy tape or your wet glue. Oh, excuse me for a second. I have one of those continuous monitors and it was beeping. All good. So, can you see how I have that up to the score mark, but not over it? You want to put that side down. Just wait about 10 or 15 seconds. It doesn't take long. So as you can see, it's not over my score mark. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to put a bead of glue. Well, I should say a strip of glue, not bead. Now this one is a little bit trickier. You got to make sure you're up to the score line, but not over it. So there's our book style. It's hard to get it exactly. I've done it 3 or 4 times and I still can't get it exactly. Just taking my bone folder and burnishing that on the edge. Alright. So then I cut a piece of this cute designer series paper. You could put it that way, but I'm choosing to put it this way. Okay. So let's put a little bit of Tombow behind that as well. And you should have a little frame all the way around it. And I don't mind this Costa Cabana showing through. I actually think it's kind of cute. So let me put some dimensionals behind my cute little penguin that I punched out. Now, if you have the larger ones, you probably only need 1 or 2. But since I'm using the mini, you pick them up and stick them right in the middle there. Just like that. And then this time I'm going to use the blue tag. I did want to show you a little trick. Let me get a piece of the ribbon that I used. I already have one. I did not have any Costa Cabana ribbon, so I dyed mine. This piece is dry. I want to show you how I did it, because I also don't have the marker. I didn't have a chance today to check to see if we have that color in a marker. So I'm just taking, this is that seam binding ribbon that you all know I like. So I'm just brushing it into my stamp pad ever so lightly. And I'm going to pick it up. And I'm just going to set it on this paper towel and let it dry. Now this will wash off your bone folder because it's a dye-based ink. But like I said, I already did one earlier so it would dry in time. So I'm going to stamp my greeting. Let me get a piece of scrap here. My greeting's right here. I think I'll use the Night of Navy again, just because it's so dark. So when you want to break up a greeting, this is a great way to do it. So you stamp it on a scrap. Again, let it just sit there. Only takes a few seconds. I love the font on this little set. It's nice and crisp. So now I'm going to take a pair of scissors, cut very close to the words. And then I'm going to separate it right here. Let me get those out of the way, out of the viewing. Then I'm going to take the edge of my mini. Put it right on the back. Just cut a piece off the edge of your dimensionals. Don't want to waste anything. I'm so glad you guys like this card. I like the next one too. I like to do fun folds and different things. I love to do boxes, those of you that know me well. Okay, so now I'm going to set that right there, a little close to the end, because I want to put a critter here. And I'm trying to center that. And this is my ribbon that I dyed earlier today. I'm just going to put that through and tie a knot. Some people find it easier to tie when it's on your card, and that's fine, whatever works for you. Let's trim that up. Just a whisker. Where did we ever come up with that word, a whisker? Huh? That belongs on cats, doesn't it? Alright, so we need some more dimensionals. Never enough dimensionals. And I wanted it going this way. We always do everything going to the left. I want it to be different tonight. So I'm going to grab, this is my bag of critters that I have all cut out. Let me find one. And I like to use, sometimes you have I call it a piece of one. See if I can find one in my bucket. I'm going to use this one. It's a whole one, but it's similar. Let's just take another quick peek. But cut out your edges. Don't waste them. I'm going to put one right there. And just a couple of drops of glue. I don't want the whole thing propped up because my tag is already propped up. So there. Now I want to put some of our pretty in color blings. I'm going to use the polished pink. An odd number is more appealing to the eye. I know I tell you that all the time, but sometimes there's somebody new listening. Alright, so there's project number 1. Okay, so let's move on to project number 2. Get all my supplies out. I will be featuring the beauty. Okay, so let me get everything out here. So I'm going to make the same card, different paper. So this is the card, and this is a different flap than we've had in the past. So I'm using this little tag as a door stopper, I call it. So let me get my stamps out. Oh, I'm so glad you like the penguins, everybody. Okay, let me explain a little something about this stamp set. So you can see these images right here. I only stamped this once, and it automatically does that variation. Now, if I wanted to add a third color, I would add one of these. So that's how this works. It's sort of a two-step if you want it to be. So let me keep this one in the view. So this is not quite a full card. It is 7 inches by your 5.5, and then on this side I just scored it at 4 1/4. See, that's your typical 4 1/4. So let me grab my bone folder again. Quick card, but pretty card. Then this little hinge piece is 3 by 3 3/4, and you're going to score it on the long side. You could score it on the other side. It's certainly up to you. Alright, so this is going to go on here, and then I believe this piece is going in here. So this is your standard mat that is 4 by 5 1/4. Let's put this little piece of designer paper on. Little goes a long ways. So I attach mine like this. Everybody is different. It is just easier for me. I want to make sure I got the right, whoops, no. I need to stamp on this and this. All right, let's get our colors out. We're going to use the Mystic Moonlight, Cinnamon Cider, Bumblebee, and let me see. I got my tree trunk. I've got this. I need a couple more blocks. Need my greeting. I believe in you. Okay, and then we need this little piece right here that is good to create a shadow for your base. Okay, let's start stamping. So I decided on this card I was going to use the cinnamon cider that matches my card base. Let me just move this over just a little bit. Looks like we're all good. We're still plugging away. The wind, I can see my neighbor's flag, and the wind is just blowing. So I'm going to stamp that right about there. I'm going to huff on it and do just a partial inside. Perfect. Now I decided to use Bumblebee because I want this to be a fall card. So let's see how it looks. So again, you want to make sure that your stamp is covered well. If you just let it sit there. So that looks good. Let's see how this looks, people. I'm going to put that right there. Oh, that's so pretty. Very, very pretty. And there's my inside. Now we can use a little bit of basic gray for that shadowing at the stump. Close up these stamp pads before I make a mess. None of us have ever done that, right? Had your card hit the open stamp pad. Now this little stamp, you might want to stamp off so that you can get a feel for it. Plus, I think it's a little dark, so I'm going to do a secondary. Just barely here. There. Okay. So now I want to add some of the Mystic Moonlight around my tree here. So what I like to do is create a template. So I'm going to re-stamp just the trees. Very, very, very closely to this Post-it note size. Take a pair of scissors. You want to cut inside. You don't want to be right on the edge. You want a little bit of your tree to show. So when you blend it, everybody doing okay? I see my sisters joined us. Alright. Grab a nice clean blending brush right here. I want a little halo around my tree. I want my corners really dark. Always start off and come onto your paper. A little bit more right here. Yeah. Now look at how much that. All right, looks like we're back live again. Gonna add some Tombow. Let me put my inside in. I don't know who's still with me or not, but looks like we got reconnected. I do too. I love the halo look it creates. So now I want to take my bone folder one more time. Really burnish this down before I attach. So now I'm going to just put a bead of glue right here. Again, I want to be able to close this. Just going to leave that there for a minute. Here's my tag. I'm going to stamp this time with the blue. Test it. Yep, looks good. I'm going to put it right there. I'm telling you people, you really want the tag dies. I use them almost every day. I just absolutely love them. Let's take a piece of linen thread. tie a bow. Yeah, I like that fall look of the trees. Alright, let me get this little door stopper I call it. Okay, so this time we want to put the dimensionals over here underneath that part so we can have it hang over to the tree. I'm going to put a couple of extra because it's going to have some friction. So please hit the share button, and I will send one card to 2 different people that hit the share button. Alright, let's trim those up a little bit. They're kind of long. And then I'll bring everything in so you can get one last shot at it. I hope you liked tonight's class. I really enjoyed creating the projects for you guys. I think we have some stunning paper and stamp sets. So just out of curiosity, do you like the green better, or the yellow, or the blue, or the pink? Let's do a little survey here. Okay, so that's it. I will have the measurements up for you tomorrow. If you ever have any questions, you can always private message me or send me an email, whatever is best. Until then, you take care, and I'll see you guys all next week. Bye-bye. Stay safe.